Hey guys, welcome. Rob Pravasha here from NoBs Photo Success and thewizardoflight.com. Wearing my hat because I'm feeling a little scruffy today. It's Monday, and basically I jogged to my office. It's something I like to do. I like to stay in shape a little bit, and Monday's my day off, technically, but I do enjoy working, not excessively. I say that. Sometimes I end up working till 11. But I got to tell you, it's usually more enjoyable because there's no pressure, no schedule. So that's always been the way for me on Mondays. And I figured it out after about 20 years of doing this, and that is because I always took Sunday off. Often shooting weddings and families and babies on Saturday, took Sunday off. And that one day off a week really helps. So that on Monday, I would be like, residually still relaxed and just in a different headspace. Something magnificent about taking a day off work. So anyways, that's the reason for my scruffy appearance. Yeah, see that? Bedhead. I just basically got out of bed and did my thing, made a coffee and a smoothie, and eventually jogged to work. So I jogged. By the way, I jogged in Luna sandals. You can see Luna sandals. Google it, you'll see what they're all about. They're kind of a barefoot jogging sandal. So anyways, I am doing this particular episode because it's been a long time since we did a NoBs TeeVee show, and I always wanted to get back into it. So I decided, hell, it's not perfect. I jogged to work. I'm all sweaty and scruffy. I haven't shaved in 2-3 days, whatever. So, and I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later towards the end of this episode, because I want to talk about mindset. And I'm going to give you a little quote by one of my favorite marketing gurus out there. So remind me, please, to talk about that. So I'm on it. So, but anyways, it seemed to me there was something else I wanted to say, and I can't remember. Anyways, if it comes to me, I'll remember, and I'll just bring it up. So what I want to do is I want to do one of these every week, get back on the rails. We were doing the NoBs TeeVee episode every week, every 2 weeks, or every 3 weeks. It was complicated because we had to get a studio set up and blah, 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 and I've decided, screw it, I'm doing it in my office. Scruffy hair and all. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I knew it would come to me. I was talking about taking Sunday off. Here's what I did, and I want you guys to consider this. This is an awesome, awesome idea. If you're going to take, everybody should take a day off. But I mean a day off. Turn your damn cell phone off. No Facebook. No email. This is something I've been experimenting with because I still tend to go on Facebook and check it on Sundays and check my emails and that. Often on Sundays, especially in the last while, I've been coming in and working on weddings and whatever. So I made it a specific rule. 1 day a week, none of that. Zero. And this is not just a theory or an idea that I pulled out of the air. This is an idea that has been proven with many, many very high-end executive coaching people, and that is that when you do that, you're allowing room in your life and your mind. You're allowing room for innovation to come in. However, it's important that you have a lot of other stuff going on in your life in order to make that really effective. So if you're kind of struggling, with whatever, personal or business or photography or whatever it is, here's what I suggest you do. Try this. Once a week, no cell phone, no Facebook, no work. You can't even read a work-related book. You can read something for total fun and fiction and a novel or whatever, total escapism, that's allowed. But what's important is you have to have goals in place. This is really, really, really important. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in some upcoming episodes because I'm implementing a goal-setting sort of a service workshop to my advanced training that I've been running with my Wizard of Light Academy. So, but what I've come to realize is that when you have goals will in many ways create a barrier, because now how do we achieve those goals? But you will never get to that barrier. You'll never get to that ceiling unless you have them in the first place. So if you're over here, no goals, just kind of floating around aimlessly, you're way worse off than if you're over here. At least you got some goals, and you may not know how to achieve those goals, but it's far more important to have them. And I'm talking like a 3-year goal, yearly goal, 5-year, and monthly. So that when you have in your life, now you can create a vacuum, and that's where that 1 day a week comes in. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So that you can get ideas and innovation. Because we are, most of us as small business owners, we're rugged individualists. Got to do everything ourselves. Got to get it all done. I can't hire anybody. I got to do it all myself. They don't know how to do it. I can do it. I'm the man, or I'm the woman. I'm the go-to guy. And it's sort of an illusion at first because it feels good. It's like, wow, you feel like you're doing everything, you're taking on the world. But, eventually that wears out and you will hit a wall. So anyways, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that particular idea because I think it's really important. I'll probably talk about it in every freaking episode I talk about during these webcams. Let me show you something here. This is my brand new, check it out, brand new wedding price list printed by 5000cards.com. I'm looking over at the monitor here so I can see that. You can see this. And it's a template. I bought it for like $30. I was going to, and I've always have, created my own templates in Photoshop for all my price lists. And I thought, screw it, let's just go, and I went and Googled wedding template PSD files, and there was 1 million of them. Wow, there's just way too much available. So I grabbed one. These are all my images, and they have all this copy in there. I just went and modified it to my own. If you go on my studio website, westmountphotography.com, go to the wedding section, and you can see this in PDF file. What's really cool about it is it mimics very much what I used to do anyways, but it's very professional looking. It's like a magazine. So when a client comes in and they're shopping for their wedding, I have a bunch of samples I show them, and I have this as well as a few other samples, printed samples that I hand them. So it's absolutely amazing and low cost. 5000cards.com is where I printed this. I only made 50. You can get 100, 200. They're really well priced. I think I paid $80. And they ship all over the world. So 5000cards.com. Check that out. The guy who owns it, his name's Kapil, and from what I recall, last 3 times I was at WPPI, he was there. He had a booth there. So don't know if he's still there, but anyways, you can find him. All right, let me show you something else. This is cool. I like this. This is a local guy. He has a magazine talking about templates and magazines. He owns a wellness company in town. So he's created a magazine. It's called Pure, a wellness magazine. I found this somewhere. What a great tool. He gets all kinds of local people writing articles. See that? I mean, you not necessarily would do this for a photography studio, but this is really, really smart marketing. You could, as a photographer, if you were a wedding photographer, you can have somebody doing a 2-page spread on flowers, and somebody on rentals, and somebody on decorating, and somebody on planning, and have the local people within your community who are experts in that area. What a great way to promote them, give them an ego boost, and give them a stack of these, get them printed up, and you be the publisher. But of course you have as much say as to how much you can put in and the images that go in there, and you can really promote your own studio. But this style of marketing, I think, is really innovative. It's really leading edge. So a small wellness clinic, I think he's a chiropractor or something like that. They talk about detoxification. You know what? Let me put my eyes on, because there's his picture. Dr. Alan Price, BSc. Oh, he's a naturopath. Sorry. So he's got all kinds of naturopath type topics. And he's selling ads, so he's probably making money. Now, this is not new. I've seen this 20 years ago. The point is that it's not something you see a lot, and it's very, very doable, especially if you go get a template like I did for this. Kind of use that as your building point, and then you can go out in your community. If you really want to make inroads as the photography studio for weddings, you could do it for babies, you could do it for families. We got all kinds of family events in our city. Hey, why not? All right, a couple more things, and then I'm going to wind her down. I don't want to be very long with these, so I'm going to go quick. This is 101 stuff, okay? I remember when my wife and I got married and we started running a studio together. And I have files and files of this. People talk all about, all the time, how do I get my marketing going? And what do I do for my photography studio marketing? Besides having the goals, besides having the best mindset, which I'm going to finish off this talk with. I'm going to talk about mindset in a minute. You just have some strategies, marketing strategies. Write them down. Okay, list them down, and type them out if you want. But I have different areas here, little subcategories, and I keep my old marketing in a file. This is my first baby's first year wall panel. This is going back to 1997 or something like that. And I collect stuff and I make all kinds of notes to do stuff and put everything in a menu, sort of a notepad. See? Categorize it so that you can keep track of everything. It's one thing to think about it and blah, 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 talk about it. It's totally another to be totally 100% proactive about it. And that's what I want to talk about as I close this particular episode of being proactive. So the reason I thought of that was because I read every Monday morning. I get Monday Morning Memo by Roy Williams, he's a marketing guru. I bought a few of his books over the years, and he's one of my favorites. He's from Texas, and he's an absolute genius as far as I'm concerned. He's a radio expert, so it's not an area that I'm well versed in, and I don't really understand a lot of how radio works, but he's won a lot of awards, and he's built a legacy in his industry as an advertiser using that medium, and unbelievable. So I would suggest you go sign up for Monday Morning Memo and sign up for the same newsletters that I'm getting. Now let me just read to you, and why I found this so fascinating, this morning's email. So he starts it off with what successful companies have in common. And he says if you were to ask 1,000 to name the behavior that marks 93% of all successful companies, what do you suppose they would tell you? He personally says, I didn't ask 1,000 people, but he asked Google, and they came up with all these different things. Let me give you a few. Successful companies focus on what they do best. They invest in their people. They're passionate. They anticipate the future and stay ahead of the curve, blah, 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 blah. So he's looking at he had a list of 86, and then the truth finally hit me, he says. Quote, half of these people are guessing, and the other half are just preaching a sermon about their personal values and core beliefs. Not a single of these writers has actually gathered the facts, and this is where it gets good. And then he stumbled upon a book written by Eric Barker. Eric Barker reviewed this book for Time magazine, and the book's called, wait a minute, I'm getting it. Well, it was written by Amar Bidet, who went to Harvard, became a trader for E.F. Hutton, a consultant, and okay, here it is. The book's called The Origin and Evolution of New Businesses. So what he's saying is Bidet brought all the rigor of academia to his investigation of the characteristics of successful companies. And what he found was that 93% of all successful companies had to abandon their original plans. That's pretty cool. And I think that's cool because a lot of people get stuck in, well, we have to have a plan and we have to stick to the plan. Now, how does that apply to photographers? Well, too many and too often we try and get it perfect. We have got to have this perfect plan. And I think that that's a really bad idea versus just doing something. It's good to have a plan. You got to have a plan. But don't be so attached to it that there's absolutely no flexibility, because what he's talking about here, Roy Williams is talking about being able to be flexible and adaptable, and that is the most important key successful element in business, and this is for all businesses, including us photographers. So if you have a plan to go out and do something, or a marketing strategy, or to grow in a particular niche and it's not working, the key thing is to keep trying. And implementation is the most important thing. And when I read that, I thought, you know what, there's no excuse for me not to do these little episodes, these little blog casts for you guys. Because it was in my mind, I was sort of procrastinating, thinking, I gotta get it perfect. No, I don't. I know better. Implementation far, far, far exceeds perfection. So, analysis by paralysis. There you go. So on that note, and to talk a little bit more about mindset, last thing I want to show you is here. I gotta see my screen here. Checking out the screen. There I am. There. All right. So I believe in goals. I believe in mindset. I believe in notes. I believe in always learning and growing, making connections, getting around as many people as you can, especially in the industry and outside the industry, within your community. It's very, very important. So I also feel it's important to have daily reminders, because I tend to slack off and I tend to forget. So it's important that I have these reminders, and I'm just going to share some of these with you. This is sort of very personal, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about it, but I'm over it. Okay, I'm embarrassed. All right, I'm over it. There. So I've got this stuff printed out, and I typically put them right on my office walls. Now, this is a new office, and I haven't had a chance to put them up yet, and they were just sitting on my desk here. This is where I see them. I still see them. So, for example, this one here says, what and why, then how. Think big, dream big, implement big, achieve big. Here's a good one. We can all learn from this one. Let go of what people think of you. Insert evil laugh. I really like this one, because this one is sort of the secret sauce. When I used to send out studio newsletters for my studio, I had this sort of, I felt like I had this secret formula that nobody else had, because most people were not willing to innovate and put the effort into it. So I can outwork, outproduce, out-innovate everybody. This is important. Oh, that's a personal goal. I'm not going to show you that. All right, this is good. Positive imagery immediately on cue whenever you become aware of a negative thought or a negative feeling. So come up with a positive image. Bang! Throw it in there as soon as you come up with a negative one. This is cool. This one here, I came home after seeing the last Spider-Man movie, and I don't know why I felt inspired. So I said, I got to print this out. I just had this in my mind, go all the way. Here's going back 2 notes ago. This is the same idea. Outwork, outwrite, outmarket, out-email everyone. I got a lot more, but those are just a few examples. So anyways, that's all I got to say about this. On the next episode, I'm going to talk to you about a bridal show that I'm going to, and I'm going to talk to you about how I produce some of the best signs that I think are the best for my particular situation, and some strategies that when it comes to signage and getting the best images for display. So I'm going to talk about that next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And having said all that, I'm going to sign off now, and hope you guys have a great week. And I'm going to hit the road now and jog back home, clean up a little bit, and I'll see you next week, I hope, on another episode of NoBs TeeVee. All right, I'm signing off.